guys, we're going to read chapter 32 and finish the story of Hound Dog True. Here we go. Chapter 32. It is darker now. The moon is high above. Quincy looks up and Maddie looks up, both looking up to the brave round moon. Now what? Whispers Quincy. You can tell your things, Maddie says, if you want. I did, before you got out here. I told about Dewey and Nicolette and Crystal, all that. Quincy plunks. All that. Same stories Maddie's already heard. Same plunky things she's already said. It won't work. Maddie wants to tell her trusting the moon means saying things that are secret, things that matter. She starts to tell Quincy so, but the moon is lighting Quincy's face. She is looking up, twisting her hair in a wishful braid, which is how Maddie sees. Finally, how she knows that the things Quincy has said do matter. That is Quincy's secret. Another light, round and white, bobs off the back porch. Through the garden, into the yard, lights up a corner of the friend tent. It stops there, tilts, then shines back up the rise. Maddie? It is Mama. Up here, Maddie says. Mama has a flashlight. And the firefighter kind that Uncle Tommy uses, and the white of it so hard. Maddie needs to turn her eyes away to lift them back to the moon. I put the sleeping bags and an extra flashlight in the tent, Mama says. You want to put on your pajamas? Where's Crystal? Asks Quincy. The lights are out in the rental house. Her closet door won't work. Tommy said he'd take a look. I'll sleep in my clothes, Quincy plunks. I don't feel like changing. Maddie? Mama asks. Maddie shakes her head. I'm okay the way I am tonight. Mama stands there, a flashlight pointed at the rock. I'd better get back, she says finally. Your principal has a substitute janitor coming tomorrow. She needs Potluck to tell her what has to be done before school starts. Maddie shields her eyes to see past Mama to the kitchen window, watches the Uncle Potluck shadow fiddle with its hat. He's so shy around her, it's cute. Shy. Maddie has been called shy, knows it does not feel cute. My notebook, Maddie says. It's still under your pillow, Mama says. I didn't. Would you give it to Uncle Potluck, Maddie says. My custodial wisdom notes. He can give them to Principal Bonnet if he wants. Are you sure? Maddie is sure. You want me to walk you down to the tent? Mama asks, lifting the flashlight again. It's pretty dark out here. Quincy shakes her head. We'll find our way, Maddie says. They do find their way. Maddie leading, Quincy following, down the rise to the tent, to the sleeping bags. The flashlight left in the tent makes it bright enough for Quincy to draw. She pushes some bag pages to Maddie. I can draw and listen for the moon, she says. Can you listen and write? Probably she can, but for now, Maddie just listens. Listens to Uncle Tommy's motorcycle growling down the drive, to Miss Sweet leaving for work, Principal Bonnet saying she'll stop by again tomorrow, if that's all right. Uncle Potluck saying how her visit would be an honor. Listens to the scritch and scratch of pastels on grocery bags, to the slow and stop bit, and later to the sweet of Quincy Sweet's quiet snore. Listens for something else, too. Something she has not listened for in a long time. She listens for a story, one inside her head that she can write down. A brave Mo story, maybe, or she can rewrite an old story. She still remembers some from her yellow notebook. A breeze ripples the tent's sides, flickers the warning labels at the seam. Maddie thinks about the stick man, wonders if he is enjoying the ride. She puts her pencil to the rough of the bag paper. In the morning when she wakes, Maddie is surprised by what she finds on the paper bag page, what she has written. It is only the beginning of a story, but is a good beginning, she thinks, the kind that makes you want to know what comes next. That's what makes a good story. I want to know what's going to happen next. All right, and let's finish this up. Okay. In Miss Morgan's 5th grade class, you do not stand in front of the blackboard to introduce yourself. And it is not just the new kids doing the introducing. It is everyone. You are all new to me, Miss Morgan says, and so they are moving down the rows one by one, each person standing and saying their name, each person standing saying something interesting about themselves. There are 7 desks before Maddie's, 7 people introducing themselves. The first 2 Maddie doesn't remember the name of, her heart beating whoosh, whoosh, whoosh in her ears, covering up everything. She made her eyes watch their faces, though. The second one, a boy, had smiled at her. Next was another boy. I'm David Braun, he said. He had a dog, a big one, and he had taken it to obedience school all summer, but still the dog wouldn't sit on command. Makes Maddie think of Stella. Underneath, she thinks. Underneath. Maybe. That dog knows. Which gets her thinking about the underneath of all those kids in her class. The parts they maybe don't share right away, but as Hound Dog True as their hair color or their shoe size or any of the things you can see. Maddie misses the next girl's name thinking that. Tells herself, pay attention. At the same time, thinking that maybe most people aren't going to be paying such close attention when she introduces herself either, which makes the whooshing quiet some. Not all, but some. End of the first row. A girl, Nadia Benedict. She has a full box of fossils under her bed. Beginning of row 2, Maddie's row. Maddie feels her face reddening. Feels her heart thumping. Kate Culp. She has a twin brother, Joe, and went to the Grand Canyon on vacation. Next, says Miss Morgan. Maddie wants to look at the next person's face as he stands, but her own face is reddening so much, all she can do is look at her notebook. It is a new notebook, a regular one, blue with wire spiraling around one edge. Inside, she has written some of the stories she remembered from before, and some new stories too. About the stone rabbit and even one about Uncle Potluck's hat. Maddie puts her hands on the notebook, makes herself listen to the person at the desk in front of her. I'm Jed Kim, he says. I have 7 chickens. And then he says their names, smooth as eggs. Who's next? Miss Morgan asks. Maddie stands, keeps one hand on her notebook. I'm Maddie Breen, she says. Her voice is quiet, but no one says, speak up. Everyone can hear her. I write stories. And that is the end of our story. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to do your choice board projects, and I will see you guys later.